May the Most High Creator of all bless us. One of the main issues that people like you and I have, especially the ones who really starting to understand what's going on in the universe around them, and what a lot of us have trouble with is having to deal with this, having to have the universe give us these new set of eyes where we actually see the world for where it is, and you have to deal with everyone around you in society that's still asleep. What happens is when you're awoken and you go out into the world, you kind of get caught up around everything and everyone that's still sleeping. The emotions, all right, gets taken over because they have lack of understanding. See, let me tell you how the enemy works, the spiritual enemy. When you are blind and you don't know how the real world works, you're just mundane. You see what you get kind of thing. You're missing parts. You don't know the unseen, the energies that's floating around. So you get caught up in the emotions of the day. I'm gonna give you an example. If I didn't stay in my power, I would be, who's to say I wouldn't even be dead a long time ago, any day now type thing. I went outside, I went to the store. I held the door open for a lady. She looked at me like she had a problem with me doing that. Like she was looking at me like, I hope you're not waiting for me to say thank you, because I'm not gonna say it. I ain't asked you type. Like you could feel the energy off of this woman. You know, this is not every woman, but some. So I got that vibe from her, so I didn't even say anything. I just held the door. I used to see, before I understood that people don't know that there's invisible forces, unseen forces that are manipulating us, putting us in low vibrational frequencies. So we're overran with emotions. So when things happen, we get emotional and blow things out of proportion. All right? You have to have the power to reason, to understand that these videos that you watch, these are real things that's invisible to the mundane world. So you have to put on your cap. When you're out there, you're not mundane anymore. You've been given new eyes. The thing is, you can't see the shades that you've been given, but they're there. So you have to always remember, like, I can't get caught up in the petty emotions, because some people are driven, don't even understand, they can't even control their emotions through the day. They kind of just go on navigation mode. All right? They just take their spirit out of their body and just continue to manually just go until the end of the day. And they catch themselves at night when they get home to rest. But you have to be conscious. Know that you're plugged in when you go out there during the day. Know that you're going around agents and all of that. So I was going to the store today, and I held the door open. The lady didn't say anything. Boom. There were two signs on both sides of the cashier window. One said, if you're playing the lotto, step over to the next side. And the other side said, if you're here for lotto, play on the other side. So it was like two of the same notes on both sides of the window. So I'm looking like, okay, which window should I go to if I'm not buying a lotto? So it was a woman on the side of me, and she was like, what are you doing? Because I need to get my, stuff and all that. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I told the cashier, like, man, you got two of the same signs on both sides. If you're not getting a lotto ticket, which line should I stand in, I know I could have just been on some, man, let me just get woo, whatever, and just leave it at that. But my grace and respect for people, I'm like, all right, I want to respect y'all rules or whatever, just because common courtesy, courtesy for people and stuff, not so common anymore. And they were so dry. It's like I was looking around and everyone was just looked so defeated. I came in with charisma. You know, I'm a charismatic person and all that stuff, and I had to realize, like, yo, it's easy for you to humble yourself when you're upset and all that, because you understand what's really going on, the bigger picture. But to the mundane people, their lives is the only thing that matters and concerns them, so they don't care about the next person next to them. So what happens in a society where we all don't care about each other and we just care for ourselves? We're selfish, all right? We stopped being selfless and we became more selfish. And I just seen it on the people's face, to the point where the cashier saw how I was looking at everyone, and I seen that just how everyone was looking down, even him and his coworker. Because when I asked him to get my items, he got it, and I was like, yeah, man, you got two of the same signs on both sides. So it's like whoever's not getting the lotto, they kind of confused, and he's just like this, like whatever type of, look like you don't know what I've been through. Trust me, everyone thinks that their burden is the heaviest. We all go through these pains because we're all slaves. We're all in the slave class, all right? In this order. So if you don't have this knowledge of what's really going on, you're going to be like those people, just droned out, like they're depressed, they're tired, they understand that they're tired and depressed, but they don't really understand what's going on around them. So they perish for lack of knowledge. You come out into the world and you're tired of what you see, because you're in it and you're a part of it physically, but spiritually and mentally you have to disassociate yourself with that. Find something to fill in that gap, the wisdom and truth about the world. So when you step into it and somebody hits you with the guy, the cashier, when he saw my face, he tried to pep himself up, but it was already too late. But I wasn't mad or anything like that. I was looking around like, this system got people defeated, and we're spreading this anger, we're spreading this sorrow, we're spreading this defeated energy to each other. It's like when I seen a child one day. I seen a child try to mimic an angry adult. Tried to mimic the face and the energy and all that, and he was just there trying to look as angry and frustrated as the adult. And I was like, oh shit, we're spreading this. Now look at our world. Look at the youth. We're so far removed. Our youth might as well be from another planet. They're being demoralized, and we're like, oh, free thinkers, we don't have to think a certain way. You know, however you feel, so be it, right? The Aleister Crowley do it thou wilt mentality has taken on shape, form in this reality. So you have to separate yourself from your ego. Your ego will get you caught up in the matrix, the trap. Separate yourself from all these feelings. Some people you bump into, they had it rough, and you might say, well, I had it rough too, so you don't have to, the mentality of revenge and get back and anger, because we're all in this boiling pot together. Some people might say, well, this person, man, leave him alone, he's crazy. Well, they playing crazy, well, I'm crazy too, and stuff like that. Arguments and petty things, not knowing that we're all frustrated and we are stuck on purpose with each other. So we have to find these spiritual ways to have reasoning with each other. Understand that we all are slaves. Some of us had a worse day than others, or a moment in time right then and there. You might even have a worse day than somebody else that ticked you off. But the thing is, if you had this knowledge of, look at the things that I put in my videos. This is the reason why we have to find something outside the scope of being mundane. Because if it's up to the mundane world, You had an attitude with me first, and I had an attitude with you first, and blah blah blah. It'll just be petty, and we don't know that there are energies and forces that's manipulating us. Without you knowing what's really going on spiritually, you would have no answer. It is what it is. You would just get mad at the fact of what's going on right then and there, and something bad would happen out of anger, out of emotions. So when you step out to the matrix, into the world, after you hit, it's good to hear these things now, because it's like, you're in the zone to hear these things, how to creep through the matrix. But then when you step out into the world, it's like this video shrinks. The energy of this video shrinks down unless you have a clear mind, like, okay, I'm in this matrix, let me move as such. Remember when Neo was walking around in the Matrix, people were bumping into him without a care. They would keep going and all that stuff. If you're stuck in the Matrix, you would turn around and stop them and be mad, like, yo, why you bumping into me? Watch where you going. Or you open a door for somebody, they don't say nothing. You're like, well, you could say thank you, whatever, and you mad. You see what I'm saying? So now you understand that there are agents all around. If you open the door, they don't say nothing, and they got an attitude, that's an agent. Somebody walking and they bumping into you, they know that what they're supposed to say is excuse me and I'm sorry. Have morals, but people are losing their morals. So what do? You're gonna fight the whole world? You know what you do? When you're in tune, everybody will walk around you, just like how they walked around Morpheus, bumped into Neo because he was still stuck in there with them mentally. You're not really there. That's how you got to look at it. What they see of you is just an imprint. The higher you is not there physically, but it's there aware in a higher realm. So you have to make that note. Like, you got your higher being coaching you through the day. Maneuvering with you. Somebody do something to you that's out of order. You should know how to move. Like, the Matrix expects. The Matrix is ran artificially. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence tries to calculate your next step. So you get into it. It's expecting you to come back with negative energy. But when you move in a way where it's like you're detached from it, where you're not even involved with this petty matrix, it's going to get confused. It's going to be like an error. And you're going to feel the energy like, yeah, I know